Freedom lovers, you can see it right here. The government paid Twitter millions of dollars to censor info from the public. What the? We're going to get into that in just a second, but first, welcome back to the JP's Reacts channel that I didn't even pronounce correctly, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants. And indeed, we will be calling out today. And also, if you can see him there in the background, that's Fauci. He's looking over us to make sure I don't say any misinformation today. He's kind of blurred out because he doesn't have a soul, but he's there nonetheless, keeping tabs on all of us, ready to censor us Americans any chance he gets. This, in my opinion, is a bombshell within the bombshells that are the Twitter files. Twitter files number 7 were released last night by Michael Schellenberger. He's one of the people / journalists that Elon is using. And it's one thing, okay, the government's telling Twitter what to censor. And I say that's one thing. It's like a huge thing. It's absolutely illegal, absolutely as unconstitutional as you can get. And then we find out, oh, the FBI was actually paying Twitter millions of dollars to censor Americans. Let's take a look. In point number 46 of Michael Schellenberger's Twitter files number 7 dump, he says, the FBI's influence campaign may have been helped by the fact that it was paying Twitter millions of dollars for its staff time. One of the internal emails within Twitter to Jim Baker, former deputy attorney of the FBI, and then back when Elon was not running the show, he was a principal attorney for Twitter. Jim Baker, you're on notice, bro. You're a suspect. So that email to Jim Baker from an anonymous source, you can see here it's blacked out, redacted, if you want to sound extra legal. Jim, FYI, in 2019, Scale instituted a reimbursement program for our legal process response from the FBI. Prior to the start of the program, Twitter chose not to collect under the statutory right of reimbursement for the time spent processing requests from the FBI. I'm happy to report we have collected $3,415,323 since October 2019. $3,415,323 is what the FBI has paid Twitter to censor Americans. Why'd they pay it? Because this is allegedly to reimburse Twitter's staff time handling all the incoming communication from the FBI. Now, paying Twitter to censor Americans is corrupt beyond all corruption. I mean, I want to see people in court, then I want to see those people in prison. This is absolutely violating the constitutional rights of Americans. That is not okay. And this being allegedly to reimburse Twitter staff for their time processing the requests of the FBI, is that just sort of like a cover-up reason for why they're accepting the money? If so, wouldn't surprise me. But if not, still horribly illegal. Because you have to think, to collect $3.415 million in time reimbursement costs from the FBI, you have to think, how many freaking censorship requests / demands was the FBI shuttling into Twitter? That is huge. By the way, here's what we need to know. This isn't the FBI using its own money to pay Twitter. This is the FBI using your money to pay Twitter to censor you. Because guess what? The FBI, they're not capitalists. They're not out there running a business, selling merch, providing goods and services to the community. They don't generate their own revenue. Their budget, any money they spend, that comes from good people like you, like me. So the corruption becomes corruption squared. I think Einstein said that when he proved relativity exists. E equals MC corruption squared. When not only is the FBI colluding with big tech to censor you, but then they're using your money to pay Twitter to censor you. This is something everybody needs to know because it's not okay. The only reason why this happened is because it happened in the shadows where nobody was aware of it. And eventually a lot of us became very suspicious of it, accurately so, but it was still in the shadows, no proof. This, my friends, is what you call, what's the word? Proof. So because it's proof, that means it's no longer in the shadows, which means it can no longer happen. But it will continue to happen if we, the people, allow it. And the only way we would possibly allow it, the only reason any right-minded American would allow this to continue is if they're not aware of it. So this, my friends, is one of the biggest pieces in the Twitter files dump that I think is vastly important for you and I to be aware of. History always repeats itself if we don't learn from it, but we have to be aware of it so that we mother effing learn from this. With that said, FBI, suck it. Former Twitter staff, suck it. Elon, thank you. Thank you for releasing this. I appreciate it. And you, my fellow freedom-loving, Constitution-loving American, don't suck it. You're awesome. So, with that said, here we are aware of one of the biggest pieces of federal government corruption, violating constitutional rights that I have ever seen. You got to be aware of it. That's why I'm making this video. Now we know, and as G.I. Joe would say, knowing is half the battle. Do you know why G.I. Joe would say that? Because G.I. Joe was a real American. He didn't like people to operate in the shadows, doing un-American things to Americans. So thank you, G.I. Joe, for setting the precedence so that you and I can be aware that knowing is half the battle. Now we know. So I will see you on our next video, my friend. But until then, definitely stay free.